Dan selamat malam Ibu Teresia, Ibu Rina, dan rekan-rekan semua dari Institut Asia Malang. Wow, welcome Mrs. Marilou, PASCUAL, Ph.D. How are you, ma'am?
Yes, good evening. Selamat malam.
Magandang gabi.
Magandang gabi.
Oke, selamat malam Bapak Ibu semua yang telah hadir pada open lecture kali ini, yaitu kita akan membahas tentang International Strategic Management. Dan pada malam hari ini yang menjadi bintang tamu, ya, yang menjadi guest lecture adalah sosok yang luar biasa spesial. Ya, jadi beliau dari Philippines, Bapak Ibu semua. Nah, biasanya kita selalu start on time, jadi tepat pukul 18.30 ya jam, dan sekarang sudah 18.31, kita langsung mulai saja, sudah ada 61 partisipan. Okay, now rundown of open lecture series for postgraduate program Institute of Technology and Business Asia Malang with the topic International Strategic Management in Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises and Startups. So we have opened the gate 6:30, and then the first session is opening, welcoming speech by Rector of Institute Technology and Business Asia Malang, Ibu Risa Santoso, BAMED, dan dilanjutkan oleh opening remarks by Head Office of International Affairs, Institute Technology and Business Asia Malang, Ibu Nur Lailatul Akromi, SSMA, and then speaker introduction by the moderator, and then the presentation by Mrs. Marilou P. Pascual, Ph.D., starting at 7 p.m. until 8 p.m. And then we will have break for 10 minutes. And then after that, we will have discussion panel, question and answer, starting 8:10 until 8:50, led by the moderator. And then we will close the session at 8:50 to 9 p.m. Oke, baik Bapak Ibu, untuk mempersingkat jalannya agenda pada malam hari ini, mari kita sambut bersama opening welcoming speech by the Rector of Institute Technology and Business Asia Malang untuk Ibu Risa, BAMED, kami persilakan.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Dino, and we welcome you, Ma'am Marilou. Thank you for coming and share with us about international strategy. We hope to get great insight. Ini campur-campur ya teman-teman. Jadi selamat datang buat teman-teman yang sekarang sudah masuk. Kita sambil nunggu teman-teman yang nanti mau masuk join kita. Ini hari ini spesial banget. Kita kedatangan tamu dari Filipina. Ini kita sudah berpartner dengan beberapa universitas di luar negeri, salah satunya dari Filipina dan Malaysia. Dan ini kita juga kepingin sharing dengan teman-teman Magister Manajemen, juga teman-teman yang mungkin dari umum, dari luar, untuk sama-sama mendengarkan nggak hanya dari kita di Indonesia ini, tapi juga teman-teman yang mungkin pengalamannya itu sudah di luar Indonesia, yang bisa menambah wawasannya teman-teman. Jadi we are really happy today. So everything is going to be explained in English, I believe, right, Miss Marilou? So, but you seem to be able to speak Indonesian already, so a little bit.
Just a little.
A little bit. Jadi ini akan kebanyakan dalam bahasa Inggris. Misalnya teman-teman ada yang mau tanya, silahkan boleh di chat, nanti akan kita bantu jawab di akhir sesi juga. Jadi we really welcome you, thank you very much, and we hope everyone enjoy this time and get a lot of insight from our speaker today. Thank you, Mr. Dino.
Oke, baik, terima kasih Ibu Risa. Nah, selanjutnya opening remarks by Head Office of International Affairs, Institute of Technology and Business Asia Malang, Ibu Nur Lailatul Akromi. Apakah sudah hadir? Cek, sepertinya masih belum ya. Oke, Mas Hendy mungkin bisa dicek, Mas, apakah Ibu Nur sudah hadir di sini?
Saya cek masih belum sih, Pak.
Oke, masih belum ya. Oke, mungkin kita bisa lanjut saja Bu Risa ya, Bu Tere ya.
Boleh?
Oke.
Mungkin
Yes.
akhir sesi aja kalau enggak.
Oke, baik, siap Bu. Oke, nah sekarang sebelum kita ke presentasi dari Ibu MARILOU PASCUAL PhD, saya akan sedikit menceritakan tentang kurikulum vitae beliau ya. Jadi speaker introduction Bapak Ibu semua. Jadi untuk guest lecturer kita malam hari ini, beliau adalah Ibu MARILOU PASCUAL PhD. Ya, jadi beliau lulus dari S1 itu Bachelor of Science in Commerce, major in Management dari Wesleyan University Philippines, Cabanatuan City, Nueva Ecija pada tahun 1998. Dan setelah itu Associate in Hotel and Restaurant Management dari Wesleyan University Philippines, sama dari Cabanatuan City, Nueva Ecija. Dan selanjutnya setelah itu beliau menempuh Master in Business Administration dari Wesleyan University Philippines, Cabanatuan City, Nueva Ecija. Dan selanjutnya beliau menempuh program Doctor of Philosophy in Business Administration tahun 2014 dari Nueva Ecija University of Science and Technology, Cabanatuan City. Dan yang terakhir beliau menempuh Certificate of Professional Teaching Education pada tahun 2017. Nah, organization affiliation beliau ya, sangat banyak sekali Bapak Ibu ya. Jadi saya akan bacakan beberapa. Beliau adalah member the Council of Hotel and Restaurant Educators of the Philippines atau COREP. Dan yang kedua, the Educ Circle International Center for Communication Studies as the member, and then the member of Council of Deans and Educators in Business, and then the member of Young Men's Christian Association, and then the member of Association of Administrators in Hospitality, Hotel and Restaurant Management Education Institution. And then she also Teachers Organization of the Philippine Public Sector as a member. And then next, wow, a lot of member of affiliation. Kiwanis International Philippine Luzon District as a member. And then her working experience, saat ini beliau adalah Dean atau Dekan ya, dan Associate Professor dari Nueva Ecija University of Science and Technology. Nah, saat ini mohon maaf Ibu Nur, apakah mau memberikan welcoming remarks right now, Ibu? Ibu Nur Lailatul has already joined.
Thank
Oke,
you.
silakan Bu.
Hai Mam
Sebelum kita
Marlu,
memanggil
how are you?
ini ya pembicara. Oke, silakan Bu.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good
Waalaikumsalam.
evening, Magandang Gabi. Welcome Mam Marlu, Honorable Ms. Risa Santoso as Director of Institut Asia, and Dr. Yunus as the Head of Postgraduate Program in Institut Asia, and Bu Teresia as the Head of Management Department of Postgraduate, and of course to Mam Marlu as the Dean of Faculty Economy and Management in NEUST, and also as the keynote speaker in this webinar today. So I'm so happy to have you here, Mam Marlu. And then first of all, I would like to say thank you for inviting me to give an opening remarks in this event. And I still remember that our first collaboration on October 2020, and then followed by the many activities of international collaborations, such as lecture exchange and also student exchange, and also webinar series. And then I would like to inform to all of the participants that next week we also have a webinar series with NEUST. And then our keynote speaker will be Mr. Hari Kurniawan from Institut Asia. So there is a webinar series also on the next week. And then in this event, I do believe that we will have a lot of experiences and new insights and also knowledge from different point of view. I mean, from Philippines, because the theme of this event is about the business challenge amidst COVID-19. So I think the new insight from Philippines will give a new knowledge for us. And then in this webinar also, doesn't mean as the offer of the collaboration, but this is our new milestones that we will pursue another collaboration. So in the future, I wish that we will have another great collaborations. And as usual, Mom Marilu, Mom Pia always have a good response to us as the best partner, I think. So don't worry that maybe next meeting, maybe we'll have another great collaboration. So thank you, and terima kasih, selamat to all the participants and also for the faculty members from NEUST who also joined this webinar, Mr. Tino. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Ibu Nur Lailatul Akromi, for
Yes,
the
thank you.
remark speech for tonight. Oke, berarti saya lanjutkan lagi Bapak Ibu ya. Tadi saya sudah membacakan kurikulum vitae beliau. Nah, tadi mungkin Bapak Ibu mendengar kata-kata dari Ibu Nur ya. Jadi memanggil Ibu Marilou ini dengan Malou ya. Jadi nickname beliau adalah Malou. Jadi Bapak Ibu kalau mau memanggil boleh Mrs. Malou, Mem Malou, Mom Malou tadi ya Bu Nur ya.
Yes, in Philippines biasanya Po, Pak Tino, yes, Mom
Kenapa, Bu?
Malu, Po Marilu.
Oke,
like that,
Pok
ya.
Malou ya. Bu Nur sudah pernah ke Filipina, Bu?
Belum Pak, kena COVID.
Oke,
Semoga next
ya.
time.
Next time kita ke sana ya. Oke, baik Bapak Ibu. Sesaat lagi kita akan memanggil pembicara kita pada malam hari ini. Pom Malou, are you there? Mrs. Malou, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. All right then. Okay, for your information, I have been to Philippines 3 times, but unfortunately, I haven't been to Cabanatuan City.
So when will you be planning to visit the Philippines again?
After the pandemic, I think.
Yeah, after the pandemic. I am so excited also to visit Indonesia someday.
Okay, well, we're waiting for you here. Oke, baik Bapak Ibu, kita akan mulai presentasi dari Ibu Marilou P. Pascual. Mrs. Marilou P. Pascual, Ph.D., screen is yours.
Salamat malam. Terima kasih for that overwhelming introduction of Sir Tino Salim. Thank you so much. Salamat. So good evening to each and everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Rector Risa Santoso. Nice to see you again, ma'am, even virtually. And of course, I would like to thank also the organizers from this institution for inviting me as one of your speaker in this webinar. So let's start. Let me share to you my screen. Okay, once again, salamat malam. I am Dr. MARILOU Pascual of the College of Management and Business Technology here in the Philippines. And of course, these are the topics that we will be discussing for tonight. First, COVID-19 as it affects the world, the first topic. How does COVID-19 the initial actions made by the government and the impact of pandemic to the businesses? So these are the effects of COVID-19 to the world. First is mobility, health protocols, and travel restrictions, economy and labor force, food and agriculture, and of course, the healthcare capacity. So, as we all know, this pandemic caused by the novel coronavirus disease affected the lives of the people all over the world, of course, including the Philippines. So according to the worldometers.info, as of this time, there are already 222 countries that are affected by the pandemic. So as you can see, the Philippines was not exempted from this pandemic, even with the strict monitoring of arrival of local and foreign individuals coming from other countries who may be possible carriers of this virus. So as you can see, the very busy world stopped for a while as the virus continuously spreads to the different regions, greatly affecting the lifestyles and businesses, and of course, limiting the mobility of individuals. Of course, we never expected this to happen in our lifetime, but it is something that we have to seriously face and take action as we transition in the new normal. Okay, so looking back, the first case ever detected in the world was a 55-year-old man from China's Hubei region. Okay, so he was the first to get COVID-19. So this is a kind of sickness caused by a novel coronavirus that is sweeping the globe. So according to the South China Morning Post, the case was brought on November 17, 2019. So COVID cases continuously increased in Wuhan, China, in the province of Hubei, and at the end of December, until the end, until the end of December 2019. So after several months, the virus had spread to nearby countries and eventually throughout the world, and still spreading until now. Having been declared as a pandemic due to its wide coverage of COVID infection. So it is important for us to see and understand the impact of this pandemic that has done to the whole world. Okay, so just like any countries, the Philippines implemented different travel restriction that affects the mobility of every Filipinos and tourists. As shown in the picture, this is a situation in the Philippines, transportations and airport before and after the implementation of health protocols and travel restrictions. So one type of vehicle here in the Philippines is called a tricycle. So before the pandemic, the picture shows that a tricycle can carry up to 5 people, okay? But now, as you can see, during the pandemic, okay, only one passenger can carry it because they have to follow the minimum health standards and they must follow the policy of social distancing. If people used to travel early to go to work, now they don't travel much because almost all of them are working from home and others have lost their jobs. So I myself, until now, I am working from home. So mobility health protocols, travel restrictions. So the graph shown slides that, as you can see, in 2019, more than billions of tourists are visiting around the world. But as you can see, in the year 2020, according to the United Nations World Tourism Organization, the pandemic has caused a 22% fall, okay, in the international tourist arrival during the first quarter of 2020 and as predicted on the same quarter. So the organization forecasted that the crisis could lead to an annual decline of between 60% and 80% when compared with the 2019 figures. So by the first quarter of 2020, arrivals in March dropped sharply by 57% following the start of a lockdown in many countries. So as well as the widespread introduction of travel restrictions and of course the closure of airports and national borders. So this translates into loss of 67 million international arrivals and about $80 billion in receipts. So although Asia and the Pacific showed the highest impact in relative and absolute terms with negative 33 million arrivals. So the impact in Europe, though lowering in percentage, is quite high in volume with negative 20 million. So the table shows that there is a greater number of decreases on travel throughput in comparison of May on 2019 to May 2020. So this only means that there are losses and decrease of travel made because of the COVID-19 pandemic. In the Philippines, tourism industry continues to feel the impact of the coronavirus pandemic as reflected in the 73% drop in foreign visitors arrival for the first 7 months of 2020 from the same on 2019. So Philippine Tourism Undersecretary Benito Bengson Jr. said that only 1.3 million visitors from January to July 20 have been recorded, down from the 4,852,107 international tourists in the same months in 2019. So he also reported that tourism revenue dived from 72% to 81 billion peso in the same period. So this clearly shows that the Philippine industry and foreign visit are greatly affected after travel ban was implemented in March 2020. So this is the effect of COVID-19 when it comes to economy and the labor force. So the COVID-19 pandemic has a significant economic and labor market impacts worldwide. Okay? So the measures used to contain the spread of the virus have effectively shut down major sectors of the economy and had an immediate and sweeping impact on employment. So we all know that the economy decreases from year 2019 to 2020 due to this worldwide spread pandemic. So this is because of the travel bans implemented by different countries. So businesses' temporary closure is because of an implemented lockdown. The public transportations are also suspended. Tourist spots are temporarily closed. Malls and other entertainment facilities have been closed. So in the Philippine setting, from 6.0 gross domestic product growth rate in 2019, economy registered negative 9.5 growth rate in 2020. So this is because as early as March 20, as I've said, the President of the Philippines declared a countrywide community quarantine and different businesses are temporarily closed while everyone was advised to stay in their homes. So in terms of employment rate, there is 94.5% employability in the year 2019. But suddenly, there is a decrease to 90% in the whole Philippines. Unemployment rate increases to 17.3% from 13.6%. So let's take a look of the effect of COVID-19 when it comes to food and agriculture. So as you can see, just like any country, the food industry sales are low because of the pandemic, isn't it? No? So local enforcement of transportation restriction is creating supply chain bottlenecks, particularly for production inputs and produce distribution. Agriculture-wise, the country produces supplies for the country. Yet those supplies coming from other countries and vice versa are put on hold, especially that borders are closed in a while. So here in the Philippines, especially in my place, in Nueva Ecija, the main source of livelihood of people here is agriculture. So Nueva Ecija is the rice granary here in the Philippines. But even though we have a lot of rice production, one of the obstacles is to sell rice to other regions is the travel ban. Though businessmen selling essential goods are allowed to go out, but still limited people go elsewhere for fear of getting infected of COVID-19. So let's take a look at the effect of COVID-19 in the healthcare system here in the Philippines. So on February 2019, President Rodrigo Duterte signed a universal health care bill into law, ushering in massive reforms in the Philippine health sector. So among the salient features of the universal health care law are the expansion of population, service, and financial coverage through an array of health system amendments. So along with this is a planned paradigm shift to primary care, which is the core and center of all health reforms under the Universal Healthcare Bill. So with the Universal Healthcare Bill, all Filipinos are guaranteed equitable access to quality and affordable healthcare goods and services, and protected against financial risk. So the Universal Healthcare Law ensures every Filipino is healthy, protected from the health hazards and risks, and has to access to affordable, quality, readily available health service that is suitable to their needs. So hence, during the surge of the COVID-19 cases in the Philippines, the country is getting worried about the healthcare capacity. So during the first quarter of this year, we experienced an increase in COVID cases. Some cases from other provinces were moved to other places just to be assisted for health concerns. So these are the initial actions by the government. Okay, they implement the community quarantine, the travel ban, food and financial assistance. Okay, So during the community quarantine, President Duterte announced the first enhanced community quarantine on March 15, 2020, wherein there was a Luzon-wide lockdown to stop the spread of COVID-19. Businesses closed and everyone was worried about how are they going to survive. Only sectors selling essential goods were allowed to sell their products. Restaurants are closed for dine-in, but they can only offer takeouts. Malls are closed, but only groceries were kept open. So this is a point where in every business is somewhat worried at first. But as months passed by, community quarantine got extended for weeks and even months. So during the enhanced community quarantine, only one person per family is allowed to go out to buy their necessities. So to avoid the spread wide of COVID-19 cases in the Philippines, the government implement travel ban and restrictions. Airline business and local transportations are also affected. Planes, buses, jeepneys, and tricycles are also affected of this pandemic. People are not allowed to travel from one place to another unless it is essential. So in the interest of everyone's health and well-being, the Philippines Department of Tourism ensure that tourism stakeholders comply with the protocols and precautionary measures set by the World Health Organization and the Department of Health. So the Department of Tourism also actively promotes simple but effective habits that the public can adopt to help contain the spread of COVID-19. So as of this time, there are some places here in the Philippines, especially in the area of Metro Manila, still they have a high number of COVID cases. Of course, the government has also the food and the financial assistance. Okay, so the Philippine government gave financial and food assistance to the people. The banks, financial institutions, rental establishments were mandated by the government to at least extend their help to the people by giving moratorium for at least number of months as it was not timely to collect from their loans since people are financially drained, okay, giving priority to basic necessities. Food assistance were also given to every family for them to survive because majority of their businesses and workplace are affected because they are mandated to close their establishment. In addition to financial assistance to entrepreneurs, the government also provided 10,000 pesos for each family or 2,985,914 in rupiah for poor families who have lost their livelihoods. And of course, the Nueva Ecija University of Science and Technology takes its place in supporting and helping different groups of individuals during the pandemic. And of course, here is a short video presentation that will show our president's initiative with the help of the different colleges, campuses, and offices to make it happen.
Through the initiative and leadership of NEUST President, Dr. Feliciana P. Jacoba, The university launched and implemented its NEUST Bayanihan actions amidst COVID-19 pandemic and other calamities. NEUST Bayanihan, living one of the core values of NEUST, unity. The university shows the solidarity between and among the campuses, colleges, and different offices and units of the university solely for the welfare of the community. Through the University Bayanihan Initiative, our university has extended assistance to those affected by COVID-19. Various campuses, colleges, and units produce personal protective equipment such as improvised face shields and face masks, disinfectants and sanitizers, as well as food and grocery items, which were donated to various medical institutions, local government units, the Philippine National Police, and other frontliners in the province. Fund drive donations for the victims of calamities in Bicol Region and Region 2 were coursed through the Philippine Association of State Universities and Colleges, or PASCUAL, and volunteer individuals for Peace and Office of Commissioner Roland L. Adamat of CHED. The university has been constantly supporting and protecting the indigenous sector of our society, even in this hard time. With its effort, the NEUST received Certificate of Appreciation for its support to the Auckland Bayanihan of the National Commission on Indigenous Peoples during the COVID-19 pandemic. Recently, the Adopt a Truck Driver project was also realized as one of the highlights of 2021 University Charter Anniversary. This project provided assistance to Sumakab campus tri-bike operators whose operations and income were impacted by the pandemic. The operators received grocery packs donated by various university campuses, colleges, and offices.
So these are the impact of pandemic to the businesses. Okay, business permanent and temporary closure, pandemic turns to opportunity, and other business opportunities. So for the others who cannot afford to give salaries to their employees due to low demand of the products or services provided by the business, they came to a point of giving up their business and closed the business. So the temporary closure is done to slow down the spread of the virus, but by minimizing physical contact or face-to-face transaction. Actually, I was one of those affected by the closure of the business. I was forced to close my restaurant business due to overhead expenses that I had to settle. But in spite of that, I believe that this pandemic will also end and everything will return to normal. As I said to myself, I have to stay positive in life, but of course, negative with COVID-19. So let's take the bright side of this pandemic. For some Filipinos, this pandemic was turned into an opportunity to put up their own businesses, particularly using the online platforms. One of the in-demand businesses during this pandemic is food business with the delivery service. So Filipinos put up their own food businesses and offer delivery service to the market. So as you can see, one of the initiatives under the Republic Act number 11469, also known as the Bayanihan to Heal as one act is the Enterprise Rehabilitation Financing Facility under the Pondo sa Pagbabago at Pag-asenso initiative of the Department of Trade and Industry together with the Small Business Corporation. So though this facility, the micro enterprises with an asset size of 3 million pesos or 893,428,122 in rupiah, may borrow up to 200,000 or 59,561,874 in rupiah, while small enterprise with an asset size ranging from over 3 million pesos to 10 million pesos may borrow up to 500,000 pesos or 148,904,687 in rupiah. So loans are provided by the Enterprise Rehabilitation Financing. Will carry an interest rate of just only 0.5% per month or 6.0% per annum. So proceeds from loan should be used for loan amortizations, inventory replacements, and working capital requirements. So the approved borrowers will also be given a grace period based on the Small Business Corporation's evaluation. While the government has provided assistance and is planning to introduce more programs to help the micro and small medium enterprises recover from the impact of COVID-19. Additional help is needed because the country has over 1 million micro, small, and medium enterprises nationwide. So technology startups, for instance, need dedicated programs and funding facilities because majority will not meet the bank's standard loan requirements. So companies in the Philippines also adopted the work from home scheme and skeletal workforce arrangement to comply with the social distancing measures. Okay, so many business owners know that a social media presence is important, okay, but don't have the time or bandwidth to learn about it themselves. If you have, let's say, you have the expertise, now it's a great time not to launch a social media management company. Okay, you can reach out to companies with little to no social media presence and offer to run their accounts and engage with their audience to boost sales and brand awareness. Facebook and Instagrams are the best platforms for business to gain a following. Let's say the Twitter, the TikTok, okay, and Pinterest can also help a business gain and interact with their followers, depending on the industry and product or service offering. So here in the Philippines, we have uh, telecommunication companies upgraded their internet services. Before, we just have, if I'm not mistaken, we have 4 telecommunication and internet provider, but now there's an additional 2 companies who already cater the internet services. So these are other business opportunities. So before the pandemic, as you can see, I am a working mom. I have 3 kids. I told to my faculty, I think she is in our Zoom meeting right now. Her name is Pia. I told her once that I hope I can buy the basic necessities of my family, that I don't have to go to market, the grocery, and I hope I can just make a call or text so I can buy the things that I want. And now, because of the pandemic, all my wishful thinking have been fulfilled. Okay. um, in here in the Philippines, if I want to buy some food, okay, it is just a one click away because there is an online application, the Food Panda application. So disclaimer, I am not advertising Food Panda. Okay, so that's my favorite delivery service. Okay, so during the pandemic, of course, consumers got used to the convenience of having products delivered, no, right to their door. So the demand for online delivery service remains at an all-time high. So these services are mostly covered meals. So I can now have my grocery, pharmaceutical, some goods. Okay, but there is a market for services that deliver miscellaneous and commodity. So another business opportunities brought about by this pandemic, okay, is online reseller. So in 2020, online shopping rose by 44%. So a trend is going to continue well beyond the pandemic. So an online resellers allow you to capitalize on the e-commerce trend while helping consumer earns cash for gently used items that they no longer need. Okay, so you can buy products directly from a consumer and you can resell them or help them find a buyer and take a little commission, no, for yourself. So as your reselling audience grow, you can specialize your business and start curating items for repeat buyers. Another business opportunity is the online culinary classes. People love to eat. I myself, I love to eat, like Mampia. Just joking, Mas Mampia. Okay, I like unique foods, okay, and cocktails. So let's say, well, if you have the culinary background or just it is just your hobby, you can consider sharing, no, your expertise with the world. So to start small, you can offer online cooking. I love cooking. Okay, my children love the foods that I cook. Okay, and you can use different flat platforms, no, like the one that we are using right now, the Zoom application. You can video yourself, no, and you can show your skills in culinary, and later on there are some students who will enroll in your class. Okay, so this is also a viable business for everybody. Aside from that, okay, let's say you are good in bartending, no? You can use also this virtual platform, no, to show your skills in bartending. People love to find little secrets that enhance the cocktails, no, new recipes, okay, that they never tried before. So, these classes can be taught online, in person, or even film, and you can put that in YouTube. If you put your video in YouTube, if there are if the people will watch your video, you will earn later on if you uh, have a million of viewers. Okay? So if you really take off, you can even work with local distillers, or you can create your own brand of liquor or mixer. Next, business opportunities is consulting business. So for marketing, to legal, to finance, you can advise others in just about any area of business expertise with a consulting firm. You can connect virtually with clients and offer them your professional insights for scaling and, of course, improving their business. To succeed as a consultant, consider how COVID-19 has changed business trends in the industry and familiarize yourself with the new standards. For instance, many businesses have adopted new technologies and remote work policies to succeed during this time of pandemic. You can help guide other businesses through this new work environment to ensure their stability. So here in the Philippines, doctors conduct online consultation using the digital platforms. Okay. Another business opportunity is the digital marketing agency. So businesses are constantly looking for agencies that can help them cut through the noise and stand out against their competitors online, especially since consumers are spending more time than ever on their devices. Like me, I used to consume my 5 to 6 hours a day using my devices. So let's say if you have the background in marketing, no, you can launch, let's say, a digital marketing agency that offers content strategy, social media, paid and target advertising, analytics, web design, consulting, and more. Okay. So another business opportunities, okay, during this time of pandemic is the graphic design firm. You can do that also. So most companies want, of course, to stand out with their graphics, but they don't have the in-house capability to do so. Whether it be their logo, event graphics, or marketing materials, companies need sleek and professional looking designs. So, since social media has become an integral component of modern marketing, brands also constantly need new and eye-catching graphics on their feeds to continue to stay relevant in today's digital first world. Another business opportunity this time of pandemic is the fitness and wellness program. So for over a year, this pandemic is over a year now. The coronavirus caused people to work at home and stay inside most of the day to their homes. So this combined, of course, with the anxiety that stems from pandemic led to loss in routine, with people no longer working out. They are drinking more alcohol, and generally taking care of themselves less. So right now, people may need extra motivation through their pandemic health slump. So if you have a background in health, exercises, and wellness, you can do this fitness and wellness uh, online business. Another business opportunity is accounting services. So many businesses and individuals have experienced hardship throughout 2020 because of the coronavirus. While some people have their fortunes improved, other needs creative solutions to keep their small businesses afloat or keep their personal finances in order. So classic example, let's say if you are a certified public accountant and you have a knack for uncovering untapped resources in tight budget, many people are in need of your expertise. Small business in particular are looking for ways to reduce costs while retaining as much staff as possible. The last business opportunity during this time of pandemic is the virtual tutoring agency. So schools have not yet returned to in-person learning. So the demand for virtual tutoring is likely to remain high because, of course, students who thrive in a remote learning environment want to continue their online study sessions. And busy parents like me appreciate not having to drive their children to and from the tutoring service. Okay. So the next video that I will be showing to you is a big change, no, in the field of business and trade here in the Philippines.
Pursuant to my powers as President under the Constitution and Republic Act 11332, I am placing the entire mainland of Luzon under quarantine until April 15.
So before I end, let me leave you this quote from Joseph Borrell. COVID-19 will reshape the world. We don't know yet when the crisis will end, but we can be sure that by the time it does, our world will look very different. So with that, I hope you learned something from our discussion, and I hope that I can be with you in the next webinars, and I hope to see you and be with you personally in the near future. Terima kasih, stay safe, and have a good night.
All right, thank you very much, Mrs. Malo, for the presentation. You know, your final video is really touching me.
Why?
I don't know, it's just like it gives us the knowledge and also the broadened experience from the Filipinos that
Yeah.
we are facing the same problem.
Yes. So that is the present situation here in the Philippines, because of as you can see, the vaccine um, just arrived recently
Right.
here in our country. If
Okay.
we will be comparing Philippines in other country, they already started their COVID-19 vaccine last January. Okay. But here in the Philippines, it's just started. And until now, as of this time, every day we do have 5,000 to 6,000 cases of COVID-19. And it really affects the economic activity of the Filipino people here in the Philippines. Though you do have the resources, you do have the money to put up your business, but unfortunately, because you have the fear that if you will be opening your business, you yourself can be contaminated of the COVID-19 virus because you do not have the vaccine for the protection for yourself. So that is the dilemma of the Philippines right now. So most of the people here in the Philippines used to do their business online,
right,
in order for them to survive, and to have though the Philippine government have an assistance, to the less fortunate families, but it's not enough, to sustain all the things that they will be needing.
right.
So they have to look for a work, a job that can sustain their or to feed their family.
Yes.
Isn't it? Am I talkative? I'm sorry for that.
No. It gives us a lot of information. It gives us a point of view from the Filipino.
Yeah, as I browse a while ago, I think in the world record of coronavirus cases, Philippines is number 24 all over the out of the 222 countries being affected.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the problem. And the first problem that we have during this pandemic is the internet services of the Philippines. As far as I know, it is not just the problem of the Philippines, but also in other countries. Especially if you do belong to a third world country, okay? Like the Philippines, we are a third world country. So the internet connectivity plays a vital role in sustaining the lives of the people in any part of the world.
Yes. The internet connection is now our fundamental need.
Yes, not just in business, but of course in the academe. That is also a big problem in the academe.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are now in a modular base, or the remote learning here in our institution.
Okay, so we have 3 questions here. Okay, I'm going to read it for you, Mrs. Malo. Okay, the first is from Mr. Rafael Gunawan. What is the similarity economic characters between Philippines and Indonesia so that minimizing the jet lag situation in order to hold the collaboration in many entrepreneurships? Salamat.
Okay, salamat. I think the similarity, of course, that is the human instinct, the fear to take the risk, no, to venture into business, especially in this time of pandemic. You didn't know if the business that you will be venturing in will be profitable, no, in the future. Who will be your market, no, how will you reach your market? So I think, no, that is the similarity characters, no, uh on my part, no, on my part, because of course, as an individual, as an entrepreneur, you have your fear, no, especially if you will be investing, no, in a business during this time of pandemic, isn't it?
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
We Asians, we face similar challenges here. Yes, the Asian countries really faces, no, similar challenges, no, during this time of pandemic.
Okay, so the fear of taking risks as an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. Okay, well, thank you very much, Ms. Malo. Okay, the second question, dear Mrs. Malo, good evening. My name is Yemin Setiawan. Let me ask, how business model innovation can give solution for this situation? Thanks in advance. Best regards.
Okay. So, as I've said a while ago, we can, in order for us to cope up, no, during this time of pandemic, we can use the modern technology such as the internet connection. We can use the social media and other applications to help the business to survive, no, even during pandemic. Let's say you can have let's say the direct selling. You can venture in direct selling, no, venture into franchising and other business moves.
Okay, so it will be on internet based.
Internet based.
Business, right?
Internet based, because as I've said earlier, I have my restaurant business, no, but unfortunately during this time of pandemic, I sad to say, I close it, no, because of the high expenses that I am experiencing, the overhead expenses that I experience. Of course, I have to make sure that uh, I can give salary to the people I have. Okay, the electricity bill and other costs, no,
Right.
the business permit and among others, no. So for me, no, especially here in the Philippines, one of the famous, no, business here in the Philippines is online business. Okay, let's say there are people who used to do the live selling. Okay, they sell plants, no, even plants they can sell that online. Okay, um, uh, clothes, no, sometimes even food. Okay, and they deliver it door to door by themselves.
Okay, so internet based
Yeah.
business, right? Okay, the third
For a
question.
while, can I drink first?
Yeah, sure, please. Okay. Because we started earlier, so I think we don't need a break. So after your presentation, we continued with the question and answer session. Is that okay, Mrs. Malo?
Yeah, no problem with that.
Oh,
I can still manage.
I haven't asked your permission. I'm really sorry. Okay, so the third question is from Ibu Setiorini. What is the government of the Philippines doing to people who have lost a lot of work? And how is the government tips to help graduates who are also difficult to find work?
Okay. So that is one of the problems, no, here in the Philippines. Especially, we do have our tracer study of our graduates last year, no, and unfortunately, no, unfortunately, there are so many graduates still. They are having difficult time, no, in looking for their jobs, but the Commission on Higher Education has this so-called priority courses, wherein if a certain student take this priority course, let me give you a more classic example. Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, major in business process outsourcing. If you will be taking up this course, there is a support of the government. They will be the one to look, no, for the job. So business process outsourcing is it is a call center, okay, a call center course, no, wherein the Commission on Higher Education will assist these students to look for their job. Because if a certain student take a priority course from CHED, they will be assisted until they find a job. But unfortunately, if there are some courses, no, like we have in our university, the Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, major in marketing. Unfortunately, that specific course is not yet is not a priority course from CHED. So unfortunately, there is no what you call, there is no support, no
Assistance?
assistance no, from the government. So what are our students done? Okay, they do online selling. they uh, they uh, they resell what they have. Okay, they produce their own product. Let's say they will be doing some dessert, something like that. So they will be the one to sell that online.
Okay, so my extended question is, does the university give additional subject for the students to help them to sell online? Might be a subject about digital marketing or social media optimization and something like that, Mrs. Mello.
Yeah. In our institution, we do have the digital marketing subject,
Okay, sure.
particularly in my college that I have.
Mm-hmm.
But in other colleges, in other departments, we don't have that particular subject. Aside from the information technology, the what you call this, information technology, in terms of the computer, the programs, but digital marketing only in our college, in our department, the digital marketing subject.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Thank you very much. So if the subject is the priority, is look for the government, so CHED, CHED, will assist the student to get a job, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And for the information of everybody, in our university, all of our students are scholars, so they are not paying tuition fees.
Oh, all right.
It is assisted, subsidized. It is subsidized, no, by the government. So that is the best help, no, that the government, that the Philippine government is giving to the students. All the miscellaneous fee, tuition fee, okay, are all subsidized by the government. Full scholar, in short.
Okay, full scholarship. Well, so it is not a subsidized, but a
Yeah.
full scholarship, right?
Full scholarship, because and it is paid by the government, of course. We are a state university, so
Mm.
it has been paid by the government.
Okay. All right. Thank you,
Excuse me.
Mrs. Malou. Okay, please. Do you need a break, 5 or 10 minutes? Please let me know.
Yeah, is there any more questions?
A lot of questions waiting. Okay, extended question from Mr. Rafael Gunawan. What makes the currency rate of Philippines higher than Indonesia? I think it could be.
I already asked Pia about that question. In Indonesia, let's say we have 1,000, but in Indonesia it already million in the currency.
But what makes it?
So what makes the currency rate of Philippines higher than Indonesia? Maybe it's because of the gross domestic product. It may be.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We should invite the economic expert later. Okay. All right. For the next question from Mr. Zainal Fanani. He's writing on the chat box in Indonesia, so I have to translate it in English. How is the perception and the attitude of Filipino society in this pandemic situation, especially in the business of traditional market?
Yes. Of course, the traditional market, no, before the pandemic, as I've said earlier, no, if you want to buy things that you want, you go to the marketplace, isn't it? No? If you want to have if you want to make grocery or shopping, you have to go to the mall. Okay, so there is a big change, no, with this situation, with this kind of situation. Okay, especially if you are a traditional entrepreneur, you didn't know how to use the new digital platforms that we have. Okay, in the situation like now. Before this Zoom meeting, I do not know how to use it. Okay.
Okay.
So the acceptance, no, of the new normal is the big challenge, no, for everyone. Okay, so we have to embrace the present situation, and we have to go with the flow. Okay, we have to learn, no, what are the new trend in this new normal, because we do not know where will this be last, isn't it? So we have to adapt to the different changes that is happening in the business industry. If we will not be accepting, no, this challenge, we will be left behind.
Right.
You will left behind if you will be the traditional one. Okay, you will sell your products face to face, no. So as you can see in my video presentation a while ago, that the situation of business here in the Philippines, though at first it's very difficult to accept, no, the situation, because it really affect the lives, no, of the entrepreneurs. let's say in the past, you have millions of profit, thousands of profit, but during this time, okay, the basic necessities, the basic or the essential, no, commodities is the first priority of everyone.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Mello. So, does the government give the policy for traditional market seller so that they can survive in this condition?
Yes. If they will be following the IATF protocol, the minimum health protocol, the wearing of face masks, face shield, if you are entering an establishment, okay? So the government check it from time to time. The local government unit monitor the different establishment here in the Philippines. If they will not be following the minimum health protocol, like wearing face shield, wearing face masks, the social distancing, they cannot enter the establishment. So there is a policy, no? Of course, there is a face-to-face interaction of businesses here in the Philippines. But of course, as I've said, you have to follow the minimum protocols for the safetyness of, or for the safety of everyone, especially that not all not all people here in the Philippines are vaccinated already. I myself, until now, I just have my first dose of COVID-19 vaccine, so I am not really feeling well right now because that's the side effect, no? That's a side effect of the vaccine. And aside from that, here in our country, I think it's the same, no? In other countries. Until now, some Filipinos have the fear in the COVID-19 vaccine. They are thinking if they will be being vaccinated, what will happen to them? What will be the effect of the vaccine to their health? So there is hesitation, no, to have their COVID-19 vaccine here in the Philippines. But last week, if I'm not mistaken, there are some vaccines already arrived here in the Philippines, and they are again starting vaccinating the senior citizens and with the comorbidities people, no, here in our country.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mrs. Mello. We still have 3 questions. Is that okay? You just told me that you're feeling unwell. Okay.
Sorry for that.
No problem. Okay. Selamat malam, Miss Mello. My name is Aning. Is there any interesting experience about online marketing done by business people there who can be a role model?
Online marketing. Okay. You know what? I am an avid fan. I am an avid fan of online businesses. Okay. There is an entrepreneur. She is selling for a while. What happened to my what happened to my
your phone?
Okay. She is selling different clothes and stuff, no. So before, at first, I told her, why is it he pursue, no? For a while, I will remove my headset. I can't hear. Is my audio clear right now? I removed my headset.
Yes, yes, yes. It's loud and clear.
Okay. Having hard time with my headset. Okay. So I told her, how much is your uh, um, investment, no, in this online business? So she says that she started her online business for just 5,000 peso. Can you compute that in rupiah?
Okay, 5,000 pesos. And 1 pesos is how much in
How many
rupiah?
million?
Sorry?
So,
Let me check. Okay.
so here in the Philippines, you can start, no, your business in just 5,000 pesos. And just imagine, no, after several months, no. So she used to have her store in a shopping mall because of the fear of the people going to the shopping mall. She thought that why not go online? Okay, she will sell her clothes, no, online. So after several months, okay, because she is my friend, I interview her once more, and I can't imagine that the startup capital of 5,000. Now she has million profit out of that 5,000 peso. So I told her, how did you do that? Okay. She says to me, you know what, sis? From dawn to dusk, I work. Remember, in online selling, especially, no, like a working mom like me, usually I have my work in the office. Okay, some people here in the Philippines also work in the office, but she is working starting at 5 o'clock in the afternoon until 12 o'clock in the midnight. So because there are some people, while they are resting, they used to have their gadgets, no, browsing, no, in the internet, what will be the latest, what will be the new stuff, no, in the internet, no, because I myself, it's my relaxation. I used to browse the Facebook every night, okay, and uh, patronize, no, those online seller.
Okay. So, do you mind to share her name to chat box? So I think Miss Ayu Dwi would like to know her social media, perhaps.
Okay, it's Joy G's Corner.
Joy.
Joy G. So she is selling dresses and clothes
Joy.
for a while.
Okay.
How can I chat it? How can I chat it to everyone? So that is the dilemma of
You have a chat box below?
yeah. Okay. It's Joy G's Corner. So in any part of the world, she can deliver those dress that you will be ordering. It's Joy G's
Oh,
Corner.
Joy G Corner.
Yeah.
Okay, itu ya
You can
Ibu.
search her disclaimer. I am not advertising. No.
Yeah, like a panda food. You're not advertising it.
Yeah, disclaimer. I am not advertising my friend Joy G. I think Pia sent that to me. Pia, can you share that in the chat box? I do not know how to send it.
It's already there. Okay. All
Okay.
right. Thank you.
Yeah. So if you will order to her, tell her that I endorse My Facebook name is Malu Puno. She knows me. Okay.
Okay, the next question. Wow. How do you think the Filipino people are dealing with the pandemic? How many victims are mentally ill from not being able to deal with the situation because of the overall difficulties? Because that what makes so many crimes, and what about the solution to face it?
Yes.
Because the economy will make a lot of crime.
Precisely.
Without sufficient competence, they will be in trouble. What about your
Yeah.
own opinion?
Precisely. Okay. So, classic example. In our institution, of course, it is not just the entrepreneurs or the people, okay, is facing stress right now. No? So every Filipino is experiencing stress right now. We conducted some webinars in the stress management in our students, in our university. Wherein we have the psychometricians, the psychologists who conducted this kind of webinar, especially in this time of pandemic. Because as you can see, stress is just around the corner. Okay, so at first, our present situation right now is very stressing. Okay, you have to think of the things that is not usually happening. That's true. uh the crime rate, okay, the crime rate really strike, no, here in the Philippines. Georgie's Corner, classic example. Okay,
Right.
she went to a parlor. She left her bag together with the money that she has in her vehicle. Okay. After 1 hour, she heard someone is calling her because someone opened, no, her vehicle, and unfortunately, uh her bag has 100,000 peso. How many is that in rupiah?
10,000 peso, 1,000,000 and 1,000.
100,000 pesos in her bag. So 100,000 pesos here in the Philippines is a much money.
Safe.
Yeah. So of course, we have to live as an individual. So we will do all the things in order for us, no, to have a resources that will sustain, no, our needs. So that is the negative impact, no, of this pandemic. Okay, the less fortunate one becomes more, okay, less fortunate because of this pandemic. Though the government has the has support, no, for every family here in the Philippines. But as you can see, we don't have that much money to sustain every now and then the things that these people have. I told my faculty members before, we are lucky enough because we survive, okay? We sustain our needs. So let us share those blessings to the less fortunate one. So the video presentation that I presented is the initial act of the university. Okay, if you do have the means that you can share to the less fortunate people, okay, all of us donated. No, so by means of that little action, okay, we help those people. And I know for the fact, no, that this pandemic will not last forever. Okay? All we have to do right now is to think positive in life and continue to fight, no, in this situation. So this will not last forever. You have to be brave in facing the situation, though it's very difficult, especially if you do not have the means, no, for yourself. But bear this in mind, this will not last, and we will survive.
Okay, thank you very much. You sound like a motivator right now. We have to think positively. Okay, the COVID-19 will not last forever. Okay, so yeah, we will survive.
In
All right.
Tagalog, laban lang. Fight.
Laban lang.
Laban lang.
Laban lang. Okay, fight.
Yes.
Okay.
Fight.
Oke, thank you very much. Nah, terima kasih Pak Dipa. 100.000 Philippine peso sama dengan 29 juta sekian Bapak Ibu ya. Satu pesonya itu sekitar 298 sekian rupiah. Okay, another question from Mr. Rafael Gunawan. What do you think about the speculation idea that the pandemic is actually pandemic? Okay, the theory conspiracy and so on. Any proofs or data that tend to admit this issue? Or maybe you have your own opinion, Mrs. Malou, about this pandemic or plandemic? Or just conspiracy theory?
Actually, there are studies in the USA that this is not planned, but rather it is just an issue of malpractice or use of the natural resources resulting to an endemic to pandemic, which affected the whole globe. I think it is not planned. So we will not be suffered for this long. So as you can see, even in India, diba, who has leverage and technology, medicine have been greatly affected. So that's my opinion.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, the next question is from Mr. Agustinus Henny. One sector that is seriously affected is tourism. What do you think should be done to revive this sector? My last time visit Philippines, I went to Subic Bay, and I don't know what happened right now. Okay.
The Subic Bay.
Yeah, I did water sport there. Tourism site.
Subic Bay, from my place, it is 3 hours.
Okay, so it belongs to Pampanga,
that's my favorite spot, tourist spot here in the Philippines, because my children love the wind of the beach.
Yeah, water sport also, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So before the tourism is not permitted here in the Philippines. So some agencies, they are doing the virtual tour online. Okay, but recently the Department of Tourism already allows, okay, the tourist destinations to open. Okay, provided they will follow the minimum health protocol, no, and they will register for contact tracing, no, in if they will be if they will be going to that place, they have to register in order for if in case, no, there is a COVID case, it can be easily traced, no, that particular person. But tourism here in the Philippines is already open, but not totally, no. So they can accept tourists, at least 50% capacity. So it is slowly opening right now.
Okay. So it is already open for international tourists?
Not yet. Local tourists only.
Local, okay. So it easily to be traced, right?
Yeah.
Where they
So
come
local
from.
tourists only. Still, we have the travel ban here in the Philippines, especially if the place that you will be coming from is they have so many COVID cases.
Okay. Yes. All right. I think this is the last questions before you go to bed, Mrs. Malou.
Oh.
You need to take rest after the vaccine.
Yeah, I have to take rest. So I just work from home since Wednesday because the healthcare officer says to me that after this vaccine you feel a bit
Fever.
dizzy, slight fever,
Yes.
but fortunately I don't have fever, just a simple ache in my shoulders.
Okay. All right. So I think this is the last question before we close this agenda. My name is Setiawan Dwitanto. I didn't ask, but we would like to inform the related to career opportunities in the Philippines in the field of occupational health safety. Please to give your advice about online business related to our experience as environment, health, and safety consultant and training. Thanks a lot.
Okay, the occupational or the Bosch trainings, no? Here in the Philippines, we have the Bosch training. So, honestly, I have a training on June 30 and July 2 of this month. And here in the Philippines, the Bosch training cost 1,500 pesos. No, it is a virtual training, no, here in the Philippines. I do hope that I can attend those 2 days training is in June 30 and July 2. So Bosch career opportunities are a lot. No?
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Malou. Okay, still have one question from Mr. Dedi Afandi. What do you think about the relationship between vaccines and the economy? Should this be the right choice to restore the economy? Please share your country experience about this issue.
About the vaccines? I'm sorry?
The relationship between the vaccines and the economy.
Okay. So, here in the Philippines, okay, vaccine can open countries, especially the economy. Okay, even the academe, the commissioner on higher education says that we will not open our classes face to face without the full vaccination of our students. So vaccine really plays a vital role in order for our economy to open. So don't fear to get vaccine. Okay, if you will be vaccinated, more individuals can go out, no, in their homes and do business. Okay? they can now have their normal lives. So I told to myself, after I will receive the next the second dose of my vaccine, I will just rest for 2 weeks and I will go to the different places that I really miss.
Can you mention it? Can you mention it, those places?
One of those is this the Subic in Clark.
Okay.
Okay. Luckily, before the pandemic, last 2019, I go to Singapore. Pia and I, my faculty who is with us this tonight, I told her that let's go to Indonesia. I want to take I want to take a rest because we have students before they have their OJT on the job training in Indonesia, and those students tell us that Indonesia is very beautiful, especially in Bali. I think Pia went already to Indonesia before, but I myself I didn't yet visit Indonesia. Hopefully, one of one of these days, okay, I can visit your place. Okay.
All right,
And
we will be waiting.
you will be my tourist guide, Tino.
Okay, please. You have been to Subic Bay for quite some times, right? You haven't been to Indonesia, so you have to go to Malang, especially, and visit our campus.
Oh, thank you. But of course, if you will be, if you get vaccinated, of course, it will not guarantee that you will not be affected anymore, isn't it? So
Yes.
it's still, let us follow the minimum health protocols implemented by the government. Remember, okay, the government really concerns not just in our economy, but also with the health of the people live in that area.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much. Okay, there are two people raising their hand. Ibu Nia Ratmelia dan Bapak Vincent lagi angkat tangan. Apakah mau berbicara langsung atau bertanya langsung? Atau kepencet ya kayaknya ya?
Okay, looking forward. Thank you so much. Looking forward to visit Indonesia. Yes.
Oh, Ibu. Okay.
I will visit Indonesia.
Boleh nanya langsung, Pak?
Okay, silakan Pak. In English, please. Okay. Mr. Vincent is here and would like to ask you directly, Mrs. Malo.
Magandang gabi po, ma'am. Ako ay si
you know how to
Vincent
speak
Lem.
Tagalog. Magandang gabi.
Salamat po sa lecture ninyo. May I ask po ako, ya?
Yes, ano yung katanungan?
Yeah. You just mentioning in your lecture about the significance online business which is increasingly in Philippines. The
Yes.
similar phenomenon is happening as well in Indonesia.
Oh.
Unfortunately, what we saw here, what we have witnessed is that the owner of those online companies, which used to be the startup, now become the unicorn, they are backed by the big companies. I mean the global companies.
Yeah, the global companies.
Yeah, like Alibaba, Tencent, Google. Yeah.
That here in the Philippines, we do have the Lazada, we do have the Shopee. I am also a fan of that online shopping. So same with here in the Philippines. That is our dilemma. The advantage of the online seller, okay? If you do have your local products in your area, you can do that. So those local products are not available in this online application like Lazada, like Alibaba. What else? What are the other online selling company? So most of the entrepreneurs here in my area, particularly in Nueva Ecija, there are home-made products and only produced here in the Philippines. Because if, let's say, if you purchase in Alibaba, Alibaba is in China, am I right?
Yes.
So Alibaba, if we will be comparing Lazada and Shopee here in the Philippines, in Alibaba, they only accepted credit cards or debit cards for their payment. In Shopee, in Lazada, it can be cash on delivery or COD. I used to order in Alibaba, but there is no transaction of
Excuse me, Madam MARILOU.
yeah.
My question is not yet given to you.
Yes.
About 10 years ago, I attended a seminar by a professor from AIM, the Asian Institute of
Management, yes.
from Makati. Yeah. Usually the Western world accuse our Asian people that we are not
manipulating.
Yeah, we do not respect the intellectual property like a copyright and similar those kind of things. Then the professor was giving us a kind of weapon to defend those excuses from the Western world, that those big countries hijack the high qualified resources from the Asian, let's say from the scientists, from the engineer. That means we are not only, they can accuse us that we do not respect the copyright, but they do not respect our brain, because they do a brain drain from the Philippines, from Indonesia to US to European countries. Now, in regards with this online business, I would like to know what is the perception of Filipino intellectual community, where the ownership of those growing business of the online was slowly taken over by those overseas global companies. Because you can also share us a good example of nationalism and patriotism, not in the narrow way, but in the big picture. That's the question, madam. Thank you. Maraming salamat po, ma'am.
Thank you so much. You know, the intelligence is from Asia, isn't it? Asian people, when it comes to the skills, we are ahead, no, in any country. Unfortunately, one of the lacking factor that we have is the capital or the monetary capital. If we will be comparing some Asian countries to the Western countries, no, we cannot. In terms of monetary standard, we cannot compete with them. But when it comes to the intelligence, when it comes to the skills that we have Asian people, we can do good business by ourselves and survive, no, this world, okay, and to have economic economic stability, no, in our country.
Okay.
So we have to support local products, no? We have to support our own to increase our gross domestic product. Let's patronize our own, like the other countries in Asia are doing. So can I mention a country in Asia?
Please.
That they do really support this local product. They will just import some product if that product is not available in their country. They will
All
not
right.
import things, no, if that particular product is already available, no, in their place. So I will mention, no, the country. It is China, no. If the technology is new, okay, they will grab it, okay. But if the technology is, they can do it on their own, they will not import it.
That's true. That's true. Thank you,
Thank you
madam.
so much.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Malou. The very last question from Mr. Rafael Gunawan. What's the big 5 economic national shareholders in the Philippines and how are their business characters? Salamat many times.
Okay, so the big 5 economic. Okay, so here in the Philippines, we have the shopping mall, the SM super malls. Okay, we have the Ayala. Okay, the Gokongwei. Apparently, they are Filipino business Chinese. Okay. Manivillar, the San Miguel Corporation.
San Miguel, okay.
At the San Miguel Corporation here in the Philippines. So they own different companies, no, here in the Philippines. The Filipino Chinese businessmen. Okay. They are also now venturing, no, to online technology, especially the SM supermalls. They go into a delivery if they want to shop. No, they have an online application. Okay, the ordering scheme that they use. Okay, and aside from that, they do have the social responsibility, no, to support the government during this time of pandemic.
All right.
They will support, no, the government in terms of the nations that they give, no, for the less fortunate Filipino people.
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much. As a corporate social responsibility, right?
Yeah, the corporate social responsibility. So, of course, you earn more profit. It's about time to give back.
Yes.
No?
Right.
To give back the blessings that you have.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mrs. Malou. So I think it is the final of our agenda.
Thank you so much.
No question again, ladies and gentlemen, because we have to give Mrs. Malou take a rest after this. And I'm going to wrap up before I close this session. Jadi terima kasih Bapak Ibu semua, rekan-rekan yang sudah hadir pada malam hari ini. Ada senior-senior saya, ada rekan-rekan saya, dan mungkin ada beberapa rekan-rekan dari umum. Terima kasih banyak atas kehadirannya pada malam hari ini di open lecture yang sangat spesial ini ya, dengan pembicara Ibu Marilau P. PASCUAL Ph.D. dari Filipina. Nah, jadi pada hari ini kita tadi sedikit mendapatkan perspektif ya, dan juga diskusi yang luar biasa banyak sekali ya tentang business challenging amidst COVID-19 ya. Jadi tantangan bisnis di tengah-tengah COVID-19, dan yang menjadi garis besar saya tadi adalah kita semua pada kondisi yang sama, menghadapi tantangan yang sama, rekan-rekan semua. Dan yang pastinya diharapkan kita harus tetap bisa berkreasi supaya kita bisa bertahan atau malah bisa menjadi pemenang di pandemi ini. Dan yang saya take note tadi adalah other business opportunities yang disampaikan oleh Ibu Marilau tadi. Ya, yang pertama adalah bisnis tentang delivery service, yang kedua tentang online reseller, yang ketiga online culinary classes, yang keempat consulting business, yang kelima digital marketing business, yang keenam graphic design firm, yang ketujuh fitness and wellness programs. Bahkan sekarang fitness itu ada yang melalui Zoom, Bapak Ibu semua ya. Jadi rekan-rekan trainernya itu juga lewat Zoom, jadi kita mengikuti secara online, ya. Bahkan Zumba pun demikian. Setelah itu ada accounting services dan virtual tutoring agency. Nah, before we close our session right now, please, Mrs. Malo, give 1 or 2 closing statements for us tonight.
Okay. First of all, I just would like to thank the organizers of this webinar for inviting me in this webinar. I do hope that you learn something, from the business opportunities that I discuss, and remember that soon we will live in a better world. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you
Good
so
evening.
much.
Magandang gabi.
Magandang gabi. Okay, we will live in a better place after this, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Oke, baik Bapak Ibu, this is the end of our session. Jadi terima kasih banyak atas kehadirannya pada malam hari ini. Ya, Ibu Teresia selaku Kaprodi Magister Manajemen, Ibu Nur sebagai Head of International Affairs, dan Mrs. Alma and also Chris from NEUST, and Mas Hendy. Okay, if you don't mind, please open your camera and I would like to screenshot for all of these panelists. Okay. Mr. Chris, are you there? I don't think so. Okay.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Where is your camera? Please open up. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to screenshot it. 1, 2, 3. Okay, once again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Malo.
Thank you so much.
Okay, please
Terima kasih.
and take
Thank you
care.
so much.
Ibu Tere, Ibu Nur, Mas Hendy, Alma, and Chris, thank you very much. And I would like to see you again in
Thank you, Miss Lai.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Terima kasih Bapak Ibu, selamat malam dan selamat
Thank you,
beristirahat.
everyone.
Thank you.